Thokozani bakwaNtu. Welcome to part 2 of the solar flares. We're going to look at what is actually going to be happening with this solar flare. Like I said to you guys before, I was going to come with a part 2 to explain a few things. So basically, in part 1, I explained the Apep project to you, but I said I did not know what it is they were actually going to be shooting up into the ionosphere. Well, it turns out that they're going to be shooting 3 rockets, right? They're shooting these 3 rockets, and these 3 rockets are sound rockets. So they're going to make an explosion of sound. And this sound is targeted at the surface of the moon. And what they want to see happening is, since the moon is in front of the sun, they want to see what targeting the surface of the moon is going to do in terms of affecting what is called the ionosphere, which is that distance that is that space between Earth. So it's basically a space that is 90 to 500 kilometers above the ground. So it's an electrified space. And just for all of you guys who are interested, this is where we could all be getting free electricity, because it is an electrified space that emits and refracts radio frequencies. So it reflects them, it refracts them in that particular space. And so in terms of satellite and communications, this is a very important space. So NASA is saying that they're going to be exploding these sound bombs in there in order to see what disturbances this causes and how this disturbance is going to affect our communications. Now, for us as bakwaNtu, my thing is, why would you call your program or your project Apep if indeed all you're going to do is to explode in terms of doing research? Now, we all know that in the past, NASA has done research and it has been deemed to be for scientific purposes. But bakwaNtu, you will know that, science is spirituality and spirituality is science. And the use of these acronyms, as far as I'm concerned, is my opinion, is not a coincidence. So, the eclipse is a doorway to significant change or transformation in your life. This particular eclipse is very different from others, like I said before, because it really does involve an upgrade where bakwaNtu are concerned. But here's the kicker with this one. You will be forced to transform. You will be forced to evolve and change. Whereas in previous times, the eclipses gave you that opportunity. It was an opportunity that you could take to evolve or change. In this one, that's why I said it's a major one. Change is upon us. Change is inevitable. We're in the age of Ma'at. So, you're going to have to change. Everything you've ever believed to be true that isn't true is going to be upended. And whether you like it or not, you're going to have to face the truth about certain things, whether it be in the political space, the religious space, the spiritual space, your home life, your relationship with kids, your relationship with spouse, their siblings, you name it, every aspect of your life, all lies will be brought squarely into relief. Now you have a choice. And what I would say the choice is whether you're going to be negative, whether you're going to have cognitive dissonance and stay in the space of cognitive dissonance. What is cognitive dissonance? Is that time where you are faced with a truth and everything that you've ever believed to be true is shown up to be a lie. And several things happen with people in cognitive dissonance. The first, of course, is denial. Then the next stage, of course, is anger. It's almost like going through stages of grieving. The next stage is anger, and a lot of people will stay in the anger. And then instead of dealing with that anger and facing the reality, they lash out at whoever the messenger of that reality may be, or they lash out, at whatever the institutions are forcing this reality upon them. And so usually there's a ricochet effect where a lot of people will cling more tightly to their false beliefs and the false reality and the illusion than people who actually will embrace the new information, which is the truth, which is real knowledge. and move forward. So I'm inviting you, the solar eclipse, while you're doing your grounding exercises, while you're reflecting upon your life, because a lot of things are going to come fast and furious that you believed to be true, and they will be shown to you that they are nothing. They are not the truth. And the truth will be revealed to you. And then you have to make that choice, which way it's going to be. I would advise you not to sink into negative spaces with this, because you can probably go down a deep, dark rabbit hole of feeling depressed, feeling sad, feeling anxious. Because if you don't embrace the truth, and yet your soul or your spirit knows that where you're coming from is a bunch of lies, then the question becomes, where to next? Now, that's a deep existential question. To either embrace the truth, you can't take the lies. You can't unhear or unsee what you now know about where you're coming from. And you're somewhere in the middle, and the question becomes, I can't go back there. The future looks somewhat scary. Where to next? That is when it becomes important to be very careful, because you can start vibrating low. And right now we need all bakwaNtu to raise that consciousness level, which is really to embrace new information. Anytime you embrace new information that is the truth, you are raising your consciousness. Raising your consciousness is not about sitting under a tree and chanting Om. It's about equipping yourself with the truth. Right? And we need more people doing that, because once we all vibrate at a certain frequency as a collective, it's game over for this system that has oppressed us for centuries. So I hope that this has explained a little more clearly what will be happening with the eclipse. Of course, to augment that and to supercharge that is the solar flare. So the eclipse by itself I've explained, and then we have the solar flare, which is literally, like I explained yesterday and I showed a graphic, it is almost as if they're balls of fire that are coming off the sun and coming towards the earth, meaning that there's going to be an increase in heat, and there's going to be an increase in everything that the sun gives, including upgrading our DNA. So all that stuff that they call junk DNA, that they say is lying dormant, it doesn't work, it doesn't mean anything. Well, it is DNA that is outside of our chromosomes, but it is definitely not junk. That is an entire universal library, because remember, we are the universe. So there are millions of years of information in there for you, bakwaNtu. So please, even post the eclipse, spend a lot of time outside in the sun and get those upgrades. Do the necessary meditations, right? We are moving very quickly towards the end, and we need everybody on board. So I hope this has helped you guys. I hope you've enjoyed this little video. Masithokozeni.